Studio thing called life. Appreciate your patience this morning as we got everything set up here in studio. Hope you're having a fantastic morning this morning, and we thank you for being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Our normal times here in Eastern Time, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Very excited for what we got going on here in the Cafe Kubal studios today. Cafe Kubal on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York, inside of their double-decker cafe on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-through location in North Syracuse. Inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'? We're going to start things off. AD and DT is going to be on in just a moment, but we're going to grab PB&J's owner and avid Syracuse football and basketball fan, Pat Orr, is going to be joining the show in just a moment on our wonderful wake-up call hotline here. So very excited to have her on the show today and excited to speak with her for a few minutes. Then we'll get into AD and DT, speaking on the fact that Jaro Zawislan is now the official head coach of the women's soccer team. We'll speak with Bob Beretta, the AD of LeMoyne, about why that decision was made and what he saw from Jaro. We'll also get into the LeMoyne men's and women's basketball seasons that are here and in their first couple games. We'll talk about the fact that tonight we have the men having their first home game of the season. The women have already played Ted Grant Court, and we'll be speaking on the fan experience as well as the overall VIP experience of being at Ted Grant Court and what LeMoyne's doing to make a well-rounded experience a lot of fun for all the fans coming in to LeMoyne. So we'll get into all that with AD and DT, and then of course we'll start a new video a little bit earlier today with our Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the fantastic people led by Danny Tome at the Wildcat Sports Pub. So, a lot of great stuff coming up. Happy that you're here with us on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all /WakeUpCallDT. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us where sports meets that thing called life. We're going to take a quick step aside for a fast break, and we'll be back with Pat Orr right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios.
Offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew. Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Cuse, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life, and appreciate you being here as always. We have a fantastic morning set up for you inside of monpazpopcorn.com's What's Poppin', AD and DT coming up in just a moment. I know every Wednesday at 9 a.m. you're itching for that opportunity to hear what we have going on with LeMoyne, and we will have that with Bob Beretta, the athletics director of LeMoyne College, momentarily, but not before we have Miss Pat Orr join the broadcast. Pat is somebody who has been in our community for many years, doing a lot of tremendous things in the photography world. She made a decision a few years ago, with her passion and love for food, to start a food truck. That food truck, PB&J's Lunchbox, has been all over central and upstate New York, bringing you your incredible favorites, little spin on things, little twist to certain traditional things as you've had. They definitely have the traditional food. They have your grilled cheese and your tuna melts and whatnot. And then they have their grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich, award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly, and a lot of great things that I've had over time. The barbecue chicken quesadilla has been fantastic. Love their chili. A lot of great stuff at PB&J's Lunchbox, open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner throughout the week on 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York, as that food truck has expanded to be a food truck and a cafe, so you could go there all year round no matter what the weather is. Pat is also an avid Syracuse football and basketball fan, so I'm happy to have her on for a few minutes to spread the local love with local business and local sports. Miss Pat Orr, how are we doing today?
I'm good today, Dan. How are you?
Doing very well. And Pat, you know, this we'll start with the football team. The football team has been in a place where they started off the season 6-0. People were concerned, was it smoke and mirrors? And now they are 6-4. 4-game losing streak, have struggled to score coming out of halftime. Lost to Clemson in a close one. Lost to Notre Dame with multiple scores going in favor of Notre Dame, 41-24. Blown out most recently by Florida State, and then in the middle of all this played a tight game under 20 points against Pittsburgh. What have been your thoughts on Syracuse football?
Well, at the beginning it was exciting, but then as the season went on, their schedule's tough. They play some tough teams. Lost some close games, lost some bad games, but you know, along with the season goes a lot of injuries. So hoping it's because of the injuries and not just because the play calling's been a little iffy, but I'd like to see him get back on the winning streak.
And for you, I mean, watching this team, Sean Tucker obviously has been a huge part of the success of Syracuse, and yet we haven't seen him as often and as much. What are your thoughts on Sean Tucker? You've watched Syracuse football for a long time. He got into 4th place, so despite the adversity Syracuse has had, he's now 4th all-time in career rushing yards, just passing against the Florida State Seminoles at home. He was able to pass Larry Zonka. So now in front of him are only 3 players in Syracuse history that have more career rushing yards than Sean Tucker, which is really incredible. And we look at those leaders ahead of him now, Joe Morris, Walter Reyes, and DeLon Carter, and now Sean Tucker in the top 4. What do you think about Sean?
I think Sean Tucker's an incredible athlete. Not quite sure what's going on this year, whether it's play calling, whether he's been injured. Not the same player he was last year, doesn't seem like. Would love to see him get back on track and run through those defenses like he did last year.
And, you know, overall, I mean, as a fan, because I know I get to hear from a lot of fans and get to hear their thoughts and their feelings, their emotions, their opinions. What have you kind of taken on as your emotion currently right now? I know 6-0 was great to see that, bowl eligible, 0-4 since then, have not won a game in the second half of the season. How would you describe yourself right now as you watch these games?
Oh, a typical Syracuse frustrated fan. We all want to see them win. We, want to see the kids, get what they deserve. They work hard and they deserve to win. And, whether the coaching staff isn't stepping up, they pulled back. Maybe it's because of injuries. But you really got to give Sean Tucker a chance. And in the beginning of the season, it seemed like they were using a lot of receivers, and, the diversity of the offense was really impressive. But it seems like that's kind of gone by the wayside. And I can only say that I hope it's because of injuries that we've had. The other thing I've noticed, it seems like other teams' linemen are like so much bigger than ours, and they just seem to be pushing right through us. Florida State had some big guys, and it was like, holy cow, they're huge. Maybe the recruiting part has to get some bigger linemen to protect the quarterback and open up the holes for Sean. Just not sure.
Yeah, and that's definitely been something, looking at it, and I think that, a lot of fans would equal your sentiments there, that when they look at the size of the linemen on the other side of it, just look different, look bigger, look more prepared and ready for battle on that field. So, I definitely can echo those sentiments.
They seem to be faster, too. They seem to have the speed thing on top of us. And our guys are great athletes, but I think they're just being outmatched, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's been very tough to see something like that. Dino, during the COVID year, had made mention of something along those lines when he was talking about the offensive line of Duke, and he said, they looked smaller on film, and then my guys saw them and were like, whoa. And I just remember thinking back to that, saying, like, are you claiming that your line is small and weak? It was kind of a interesting thing for him to say. But, now we look at this and people want answers. 7 years of Dino Babers. As a fan, where are you at with Dino's leadership at this point?
I'd like to see somebody else come in.
Do you think that we need somebody that has Central and Upstate New York ties, maybe a former assistant coach, somebody who's been with the program or played for the program? Is that where you think they need to go?
I don't think it would hurt. I think that our local talent gets ignored by Syracuse University, and that's pretty sad. If you follow high school football, we've got some incredible athletes out there in Central New York, and they've gone on to other colleges and done very well, and we never even gave a look to them. So I think local recruiting would help. You don't have to bring 10 players in, but, it'd be nice to get one local guy to... Jaro
Dennis, linebacker who came from CBA, never offered by Syracuse. He was asked the question, him and I had talked about it already, but somebody had asked him the question at ACC kickoff about, what's going on with Syracuse, what do you think about Syracuse and not recruiting you? He said, I don't talk about teams that didn't give me an opportunity. So, he's been linebacker of the week, captain on the team. Jaro Dennis is going to get a look for the NFL. He's just one of those guys. He's played in a Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in a New Year's Six game. He's won an ACC championship. So, to say that he wasn't good enough is laughable. And there's other guys like that. And I think the thing that was really hard and frustrating was that last year Dino was asked the question, and I was sitting in the press conference. He was asked the question, did you see any high school football games locally this year? And he looked into the camera and said, I have not seen a single game this year. And that is something I wouldn't have admitted if that be the case. And on top of that, the sectional championships were in the Dome and the state championships were in the Dome. So bare minimum, when the teams from all over the state came to his home, he could have literally walked into the Dome where he's used to being, stood for a quarter, and then left. So to say I haven't seen any games was kind of a punch to the gut, especially when the playoff games were right there in the Dome.
Yeah, a little bit arrogant, I think. We got some incredible coaches in Central New York that really know how to get the most out of their talent, and I think they're being ignored. It's sad.
Yeah, I can, like I said, I can appreciate it. We've banged the drum here for alumni recognition as well as recognizing the wonderful high school student athletes that I have the opportunity to interview and speak with all the time, and a lot of great schools here, and a lot of great kids here too, and a lot of great coaches. And it's funny because they say, oh, we're sending our coaches out, we're doing this, that, and the other. And I was like, okay, well, if you did that, these coaches would tell me. Now, I do know that they did a little bit more this season, but, could it be too little, too late? We'll see. On the basketball side of things, I got to ask the questions, speaking here with Pat Orr, PB&J's Lunchbox owner and avid Syracuse fan, and you hear her commercial every single broadcast that we have here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You can go to their cafe on 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. We love Pat, great person in our community, a lot of support for everything that she's done, and a lot of love. That's the cool thing about the people that I know Pat Orr is when they interact with me and talk with me about Pat, it's not just, oh yeah, she's a nice lady. It's people that really go to and tell people about PB&J's Lunchbox. So tells me something when there's good people that are supporting somebody, and I definitely see that with assessment of this team because more than half of the team is new. You got 6 new faces on the team, and a long time. I look at Buddy Boeheim's ability and how he worked on his shot and how he tried to become better as an all-around player. I mean, there was so many things to be had here. Quincy Guerrier, who would still be on the team right now if he didn't transfer to Oregon, there's been a lot of change over these last couple of years. There's been an exodus of players. One season saw, I think, 5 different players leave the program. So Syracuse has had to fill a lot of spots, a lot of needs, and it's not, to me, easy to sit here and prognosticate what a team's going to be when the majority of the team is new. So we look at the first couple games here. They're 1-1. I never thought I would say this. I never thought I would cover this. I never thought I would write this and talk about it on the show. But after winning 54 games in a row, Syracuse has now lost 2 games back-to-back to the Colgate Raiders. And Colgate right now has their first multi-game winning streak against Syracuse since 1960-61, 61-62, which predates Boeheim being the head coach. Your thoughts?
I think COVID has changed the NCAA basketball layout with all the transfers and stuff, which has made it hard for teams to get consistency and be able to do what they do year after year. Definitely changed Syracuse. I think that this year is going to be exciting to watch. You got Joe Girard playing in a position that he should have been playing instead of point guard, and hopefully he shines at it. A lot of young talent come in, a lot of speed, a lot of shooters. Real excited to hear that Jim Boeheim is playing some man-to-man because it got to the point where if they figured out our zone, we were done. And I think that's a real plus. And I think that Syracuse is excited about SU basketball. They lost to Colgate, but this is preseason. Still trying to figure out where people are going to play and who's going to play. I think they'll be fine. I never worry until the end of the year. If they make it into the NCAA tournament, it's all good with me.
That coming from Miss Pat Orr, the owner of PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you've seen all over central and upstate New York, and the cafe that is located on 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Go warm up this morning with some nice hot breakfast from PB&J's Lunchbox, as well as chili and other favorites throughout your week. Pat, final note here, just what you could say about PB&J is why it was important to you to stay in this community. I know you love this community, you care about the community, you've talked about the kids, you've talked about the importance of the programs here staying local. So why did you stay local, and what is it about PB&J's that you think is special?
I moved to a new location during COVID. Scariest thing I've probably ever done, but pushed through it and being successful. We have a really nice wave of people that come in every week, support us greatly. And we try to do our best at keeping everything consistent and service, quick service. Like on our food truck, we pride ourselves in getting food out really quick and we cook everything fresh. In the restaurant's the same thing. Working on maybe a few new appetizers to come in. We started doing the Bang Bang Shrimp Tots, which have been a huge hit, and we're bringing them into the restaurant now. So you can get those at the restaurant anytime you come in. Same with our soups and we make our own dressings. Everything's fresh. Everything's tasty. And that's what we try to keep on board. And we serve breakfast all day. So a lot of people don't know that. And we've been getting more and more breakfast people like in the afternoon and stuff like that. So really proud to be in Liverpool. Really love the area. And just looking to stay here for a while.
Yeah, and I love the breakfast all day because not only is Wake Up Call a morning show to start off your morning where you can grab some breakfast at PB&J's or have it sent to you from Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Eat Street, but you can get in touch with them. You could go over there or have it sent to your home through any one of those wonderful apps. It's the fact that you have breakfast all day, because I am a breakfast all day person. I'm a person that wants my eggs and my pancakes later in the day. I want a breakfast sandwich later in the day. So I love that you offer that. And it's one of the things that I think people always ask about is where can I get breakfast at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for everything that you've done here to partner with us. And thank you for all your cool creations, because you definitely have thought outside the box, which I think is really incredible. And at the same time, and I'm saying this out of love, and you know that it's true, nobody makes my nachos arguably even better than me at times than Pat Orr.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And just one more note to people, be kind to restaurants and their workers. The struggles are real. Every day it's something different. The price of stuff is like tripled and quadrupled on us. Every week there's something that we can't get and we have to change what we do. That's the biggest struggle. If we could get back to just normalcy on stuff that's available to us, it would be nice. And, we see a lot of restaurants close, and that's not a good sign in Syracuse. Try to support as much as you can.
Yeah, definitely support local. We've been all about that, supporting local. The hashtag I started at the beginning of the pandemic around February of 2020 was support CNY, and I continue that hashtag pretty much daily here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So make sure that you support CNY, support local business, support small business, and make sure you're taking care of that. So like I told you before, and many times, a little bit goes a long way. Going and grabbing a sandwich from a local spot goes a long, long way. So make sure you head out to PB&J's. Your taste buds will thank you, and you'll be able to support some great people in our community. So, Pat, as always, thank you for everything that you do. I wanted to get you on for a few minutes this morning because I know Syracuse football and basketball is top of mind with a lot of people right now and a lot of things going on in their seasons, and also because of the fact that I know you're a trooper out there supporting our community of Central and Upstate New York and supporting local. Pat's on the food truck heading out to an event right now in the snow. So when you think food truck season is over, she's still working harder than a lot of people out there. So thank you for everything that you do, for all the blood, sweat, and tears you put in. You know I appreciate it, and I always look forward to our conversations, getting to sit with you and being able to see everything that you've done. So thank you for going out there. I know you said it was the scariest thing that you've probably ever done, but thanks for taking that leap. Thanks for starting the cafe, centrally located by Destiny USA, the Thruway, Onondaga Lake Parkway, and the highway on 6630 Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. And just thank you for being you, Pat. You professionally and personally are a different type of human for all the right reasons. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Everybody be safe out there.
All right, take care, and we'll talk with you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
See you. That coming from Miss Pat Orr, spreading a lot of love and spreading a lot of knowledge, right? Talking about food prices, quadrupling, tripling, and quadrupling, insane, okay? And this is why I talk about people in office. I don't care who you vote for. You have to look at the decisions that they're making, right? You have to look at what they're doing and how they're doing it. I don't care what party you're a part of. I'm not here to divide the country like a lot of other people are. I'm here to just say, pay attention to the facts, pay attention to reality, and pay attention to your life, right? If everything is costing more and things are getting more difficult and people are getting more angry and the country's getting more divided, take a look at that. Look at what that means and try to assess the situation, because we can't control everything, but we can control how we vote. We can control how we react. We can control how we treat each other and how we go about our business. And so it is imperative now more than ever to pay attention to what's going on in today's world and to make decisions that are going to help us all and not just a few of us. We'll take a step aside on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. AD and DT will be joining us right after this, with Bob Beretta joining me here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. To an all-new edition edition of AD and DT, featuring Athletics Director of LeMoyne College, Bob Beretta, and myself, Dan Tortora, aka DT. Always happy to be here with you in Dolphin Time, which is every Wednesday at 9 a.m. exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You're watching, listening on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com/Wake Up Call DT in our multimedia marketing partnership. How are you?
I'm excellent, Dan. How are you today?
Doing very well. I love the tie. And the pocket square, you got it all.
Trying to rock a little Dolphin green today.
Yeah, no, looking very good. And as we're rocking this Dolphin green, very excited about what is coming up this season for the men's and women's basketball teams. We have had a fantastic fall season that has put us in great footing for the future. And just named, and make a note here about the official naming, because I know we put something out for the show here on Wake Up Call, but Jaro Zawislan, the interim head coach, now the official head coach of the future for LeMoyne Dolphins women's soccer. And so I'd love to get your thoughts on that and why it was the right decision.
Yeah, thanks for asking, Dan. You know, we really are blessed to have Jaro lead our women's program moving forward. It was really an arrangement made out of desperation, really, for us. Back in August, we were looking for someone days before the start of our in-season training sessions, and Jaro was available. Obviously, he has that arrangement with Syracuse FC. He's the president of that, and it was approaching a downtime for him. So, you know, my goal was to find someone that could make a terrific experience for our student athletes at that point in time. Get us in and out of a season, someone who was competent, who knew the inner workings of a collegiate season, what it would take to be competitive, and hopefully provide our student athletes with a wonderful experience and help them develop and grow as student athletes and as individuals, as human beings. And we felt like we hit a grand slam with Jaro. I was able to evaluate Jaro throughout the course of the season, his attention to detail, his passion for coaching at this level. It really was reignited. He hadn't coached since he was the head coach at Cornell several years ago. Had done a terrific job with the men's program at Cornell, led the Big Red to an Ivy League championship, I think 3 years after he assumed the reins of a program that had won one game the season before he arrived. Yeah. So we knew his knowledge was, he was an elite coach, an elite teacher, had great expertise. It was a matter of whether it's something that he felt like he wanted to do long term again, that he could commit his time to it. Because if you know Jaro, he puts everything into everything that he does, and it's kind of hard for him to assume up front what that was going to look like until he got into the inner workings and the grind of what a collegiate season was again. And I could see the fire lit as the year went on. We talked a couple times throughout, and as every week passed, it became more apparent to me that he would be the perfect fit, provide stability to our young ladies, to that program, and also built a tremendous staff of people around him that were really passionate about elevating our program. And you know, we watched several games develop. The trajectory of that program was straight up come October. Really, from day one, it was pointing north. Yeah. And to where they ended the season, I think we were 2-1-1 against the top 4 teams in the top Division II women's soccer conference in the country. Sent 5 teams to the NCAAs. I was just really impressed with the work that he did, and it was a no-brainer for me to sit down once we let some time pass and let Jaro absorb what the season was, because it was really a whirlwind. It was a no-brainer for me to extend that offer, and then Jaro quickly accepted it. So we're really thrilled to have him lead our young ladies.
Yeah, it's amazing how some of the best decisions in life come from one of the most adverse situations, right? And some of the best decisions that you can make are the ones in the 11th hour in that moment. My mom had said it to me before. She goes, it's not that you can't do something when you have time, but she said when you're pushed against the wall and you have something due the next morning, you work well under pressure. And in the case of Jaro, I mean, you had to make this decision in the 11th hour, and then you said, hey, let's give him this opportunity. Let's see what can happen here. We'll put him in as the interim head coach. And how well he worked under pressure, got this team on the last day, a few hours before, they were mathematically taken out of the NE10 playoffs. But to have a team where they have been in the past few years, to get to the point where on the last day you have an opportunity to make the postseason from everything this team has been through, it says a lot about the work that Jaro's done. And like you said, we watched so many games this year, and just a phenomenal team. And I told you from the beginning that the fight in this team was there. Last year, I didn't see it, and I didn't put it on the personnel. It was just like an overall feeling of the environment that once this team was down, they were down. And I didn't see that this year. I didn't see it post-game. I didn't see it pre-game. I didn't see it during the game. And I've gotten to be around a bunch of the student athletes on the team, and I'm just honestly very grateful and thankful they chose LeMoyne, and I'm excited about the future.
Yeah, and he's done a great job recruiting, throughout the course of the fall. It's tough to recruit when you're wearing that interim tag. I lived it during the year that I was a softball coach at West Point. I was the interim, and I was recruiting, and I was trying to keep our class together and recruit some new talent to come in. And It's tough because they're always asking that question. So he did a tremendous job attracting talent, future talent into our program. We haven't announced names of that class yet, but I can tell you there are some really exciting talents that will be joining us. They were out on our field working out with our team earlier last weekend. On Friday, I believe they were here, and I was blessed to meet with several of them. And I think you're going to see a whole different level in terms of the competitive level of our program. And I thought we achieved a great deal this past year, but now having the players, allowing them to have an opportunity to work under a coach's guidance and direction for 9 whole months, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting to sit here hopefully next year talking in November and having that team compete in the NCAAs, because I do not think that is a reach. I believe that is a goal. I know that's a goal, and I do believe it's a goal that we can reach next year.
Yeah, and I'm excited to have that conversation with you because I believe in it. I really do. And it says something about Jaro and his staff that right after he was announced as the official head coach of the future for LeMoyne Dolphins women's soccer, he was on the field with his team practicing. And I'm sitting here like, really? Like, it was like no days off. The moment that he was announced, he was out there, and he's consistently been out there with the team training. And they said preparation for 2023 starts today. And a lot of teams can put posts on Instagram, but I physically saw them out there. I was not just saying it.
No, they're out there, and his work ethic is unmatched. And teams take on the personality of their head coaches. That's just a fact. And our team took on the personality of Coach Jaro this fall. They were grinding, they were working hard, they believed, and I think that we can only expect bigger and better things out of that program moving forward. So I'm thrilled that Jaro was able to feel like he could take on this challenge, and I'm thrilled for our young ladies that they have such a great mentor and role model and someone who is so knowledgeable. They'll learn and grow and develop into great players, but great human beings as well.
And with that and this awesome fall, we've talked about Tom Bonus and the men's soccer team as well, gave them a lot of credit. The only blemish for the #1 ranked team in the nation, Franklin Pierce, LeMoyne. The only blemish for the #2 ranked team in the nation, Mercyhurst, LeMoyne. So we talked about that, and Tom and all of his recruiting and everything he's done for over 2 decades. There's so much more to come on the men's side of things as well. So now you have 2 soccer teams here at LeMoyne with great leadership and, like you say, taking on the personality of their coaches. We know what the men can do. We're excited about what the women will be doing. And with that being said, we pass the baton to the winter sports and men's and women's basketball. When you talk about 2 leaders that are doing good things, Nate Champion, who played at LeMoyne, comes back and has had success in his time here. And he said, listen, I don't want to be the NE10 Coach of the Year one time, every year. And he wants this team to be in the playoffs every year and to have that consistency. Mary Grimes comes in and gets her team in the NCAA tournament. That's not just the NE10, the NCAA National Division II Women's Basketball Tournament in year #1. I know she's hungry, I know Nate's hungry, and they both, in a short amount of time at LeMoyne as head coaches, have had great success. Mary has a track record with LeMoyne, so does Nate Champion. Coming back and seeing them be leaders, not only am I excited for the seasons that have already tipped off, but at the same time, I'm excited that people that had a connection to LeMoyne wanted to come back. It says a lot about the Heights, and it says a lot about their experience here.
It does. It speaks volumes. It's the culture of the institution, and it's the culture of our athletic department. We take great pride in that both wanted to come back, and Mary wanted to come back, and she's done a great job, and Nate is continuing to rebuild that program. Mary, we know, we saw in full display what they're capable against Syracuse in the exhibition game, losing 73-70, 12 lead changes, 6 ties, led by 6 after the first intermission, after the first quarter, trailed by 1 after the first intermission, I should say, at halftime. So, gotten off to a really good start. Yeah. 2 wins here at home over the weekend, and today we'll have a tough match against Damon later tonight. And then tonight, the men open up at home after 2 really tough games on the road in Albany this weekend. And Nate was very strategic, and he was very intentional in building this non-league portion of his schedule. It's a tough schedule. And we opened up against Dominican, lost on a buzzer beater there, did not perform well Sunday against Bloomfield, and now come home and take on Stack, St. Thomas Aquinas tonight, historically the top team in the region, and another great barometer for the development of our men's program. So come on out to Ted Grant Court tonight and watch our home opener and support the Finns against a really quality opponent.
Yeah, and the coach for St. Thomas Aquinas got his first win as the head coach too, so he's coming in with that. And there's definitely, like you said, the non-conference schedule that Nate Champion and I had a nice conversation in our Dolphin dive over some good Mother's Cupboard chicken sandwiches. We had a good time talking about the importance of the non-conference schedule as well as the NE10. So the experience of being at Ted Grant Court, I know that when you came in, it was important to you to create a fan experience, a VIP style experience, to bring in something special to the way that people see the game, and the food that they have at the game, the quality of the food, what they have, the different hospitality that's there, then at the same time where they can watch from and how you can build these partnerships, as well as the signage that you have at the game. So I know that LeMoyne, around the actual Ted Grant Court itself, has taken a lot of time and dedicated to being purposeful with how fans experience, how corporate partners can experience it, and I'd love for you to speak on that.
Yeah, well, thanks, Dan. We've been very strategic again and very intentional in trying to build an atmosphere, and we have work to do there. Right? There's no question. We still have work to do. We're trying everything we can to bring the students down, but we've injected some in-game contests for our fans. We do have courtside seating that are available to our corporate partners and to our donors at a certain level. They're entitled to courtside seats, which we have F&B, food and beverage, tied into that in a little hospitality area out in the lobby. Very nice and intimate, way to catch a bite to eat on those
really good food.
On those midweeks when you come in quick and you want to grab a quick bite and maybe a bottle of iced tea or water. So we injected that into that. And then we're talking about some special events, probably second semester. We're looking at returning what was very popular here was the Finns Frenzy, and we introduced that in the fall at a soccer doubleheader in October for the first time, and now we're going to revisit the Finns Frenzy in the winter, which has taken place here during basketball seasons pre-pandemic. So we'll be able to welcome that back, and we're talking about really some exciting promotions on game day there as well. So we're always looking to tweak that. We've done some great things with our video board, with our graphics. Our signage is very prominent around the court. If you come out and you see our corporate partners who we're blessed to have and thankful for their support, but I think it all goes into kind of creating that atmosphere, and we're going to continue to search and build and improve, and every day we want to move the needle a little bit every day, and I think that we're working hard as a staff to accomplish that.
Yeah, and I can say from experiencing it myself that it's a different experience in a better way, progressive way, and a more positive way at Ted Grant Court. And I got to enjoy the hospitality last year, got some good food, and being Italian and Hispanic, I'm very, I know when it's good and I know when it's not. And I had some good Italian food this past year, so definitely excited because the product on the court itself with Mary Grimes and her staff and her team, and then Nate Champion, his staff and his team, I know that that's going to be good, and I know the level of expectation that they have. And then around that, to have more opportunities and reasons for people to come out and how they can experience the game is really incredible, and I think it's great. And I know your partnership on radio as well, that there's a continuation of two voices that people know synonymously with LeMoyne College, that we get to continue to showcase that, hear the games, and if you're not able to make it, to be a part of that as well.
It is. It was important for us to be able to broadcast all of our men's and women's games on commercial radio, and I know in the past, pre-pandemic again, and several years removed, it's been almost 7 or 8 years since LeMoyne's men's team was on commercial radio, their broadcast, and I think there were a few women's games, but not a full season. Last year was actually the first season where we've had the schedules for both teams in their entirety broadcast on Fox Sports Radio, and there's 4 signals for us there in the Syracuse area and in Oswego, and we're really grateful for our friends at Fox for putting us on. But we have that constant home. You can always find us there. Chris Granozio and Don Famillo, they've been doing our games for 25, 30 years, so they're familiar voices there, big fans of the Dolphins. And again, here, it's really important for us from an image standpoint, but we also use those broadcasts to tell the stories that we have here, the success stories of our institution, whether it's academics, whether it's some new initiatives. We were able to put the president on at halftime of our game on Sunday. So there's just a lot of different excitement that we can kind of help shape through that. And then, of course, we have our cheer team now at our games, which hadn't always been the case. Our dance team is performing at our games. So we're doing so many different things to try to improve. And again, we do have some ways to continue to follow along that path, and we'll always continue to strive for better. I mean, that's who we are. That's part of the Jesuit mission, right? Part of our faith is magis, is not ever feeling comfortable with status quo. And so we're looking to improve every single day in every single way.
And a final note, how you would describe Nate Champion and Mary Grimes as leaders?
Yeah, they're great leaders. They're great role models, Dan, as you know. They're great mentors for our young people. I know they're developing great products on the court as basketball players, and that's important. They're the head basketball coaches, but more importantly, and this is the same whether we're at LeMoyne or if we were at Michigan or whether we were at Texas, Oklahoma, we want our coaches to develop great leaders that graduate and go on to become phenomenal contributors in all sectors of society, leaders in our community. And we feel that Nate and Mary are both doing that. Nate today, as a matter of fact, we had a what we call luncheon leadership, and something we initiated this year with our staff and our coaches, and we bring in some thought leaders around campus and sometimes off campus, and we talk to our coaches about professional growth and development, and today was one we had an internal group from campus, our financial aid and admissions team that came down and tried to help our coaches with some tips and things like that. Anyway, Nate couldn't make it, came in and said, "Hey Bob, is it okay? I have a community service project." So of course you're excused to go out and help in the community, because that's a big part of who we are. And our coaches are very conscious of that, and I'm so impressed that Nate would find time in season to be able to help out in a way that is meaningful.
Yeah, and I appreciate it, and I applaud when that time is found, and I've said it to Nate before, I was like, you have a crazy schedule, and he was, when we did our Dolphin dive with Mary Grimes and Joanna Dabrowski of the women's team, and then when I did mine with Nate, he was in the process of physically moving his life and at the same time getting ready for the season, watching film and all that. And instead of saying, "Hey, I'm just too busy," he said, "Hey, can you come to campus so we could do it from here to here?" And gave me the little bit of time that he had in the middle to eat a quick sandwich and talk for a half an hour. And I just, I marveled at the fact that many coaches would have just said, "Hey, I'm too busy." And he was like, "Hey, I got a million things going on, so can we ad-lib?" And I appreciate that very, very much so. And I appreciate the time that Mary and Nate have given to me to be around this program and get to know both of these programs, because there is so much good here. And I can say, and Mary knew this from last year, my mom had never been to a women's basketball game, and I didn't know. And I said to my mom, I said, "Hey, will you come to this game with me? I'd love to have you out." And we were sitting there, and while we're watching right behind the LeMoyne bench, my mom said, "You know what? I've never been to a women's basketball game." She's like, "I love this sport, but I've never been to a women's game." And she got to talk with Mary Grimes after the fact, and I get to say that the first game that my mom ever went to in her life for women's basketball had to do with LeMoyne, and she was very moved by the effort, enthusiasm, the work that Mary, she would not stop telling Mary how great of a product she had put on the court. So it's personal to me too that my mom got to do that.
And she saw a win, right?
Yeah,
She saw a win, so it couldn't get any better than that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see a lot of those with Mary. So
you do.
With that being said, for AD&DT Athletics Director Bob Beretta, myself, Dan Tortora, we appreciate you being here in Dolphin Time every Wednesday at 9 a.m. in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. First and third Wednesday, AD&DT. Second and fourth, Dolphin Dive with student athletes, coaches. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Welcome back here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Cafe Kubal Studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. As you know, on Wednesdays we separate into two videos with the Fantasy Football Power Hour with so much content with fantasy football, wanting you to be able to get to it immediately and instantaneously. We are going to end this video, start a new one. So for those of you on YouTube.com,